turn on the volume. Good evening. So this video is going to be volume part one, and how to deal with upcoming deportation if you are in the United States and you don't have legal papers, and if you do have legal papers, let's say you're not a citizen and you have legal permit or legal right to be in the United States, then you really have nothing to worry about, because right now the immigration is looking for somebody. They're looking for two things. One is for people that uh, are in this country that don't have a legal right to be in the United States. That means that you don't have, you haven't registered with immigration, or you didn't show up to court after an immigration judge uh, scheduled you to come to court. You are the court decided that you are to be deported. You didn't show up for deportations, or you didn't come to court for a proceeding regarding deportations, and or you have a criminal, you have committed a crime while in the United States. I'm talking about if you're convicted of a crime, then that you be primary subject of deportations, and after the conviction of a crime, not based on any arrest. What normally happens is, I went through this process long time ago. I went through immigration prison, immigration jails, and what I highly recommend that you do is, before you get arrested, before you get into any immigration contact, to gather your belongings, gather your money. The most important thing is you have to get your money out of the country to whichever country you're going to be deported to, or give your money to your loved ones, your friend, your families, somebody that you trust, someone that you, when you get deported, that you can call them and ask them to send you the money that you left with them. The worst thing you could do is to keep your money with you, and then when you get arrested, the immigration will take that money, and you will never see that money again. Believe me, it doesn't matter if you have a bank account, the money is in your bank account, the immigration will take that money. I've seen it happen so many times. I was in immigration jail before, for over a couple years myself. The immigration will take that money, okay? Forfeitures, they call it, they will go to the front of the judge. They will say that money that you have, everything that you have, your car, the money that you have in your bank account, the immigration will say that money is come from crimes. That money is, you made that money to criminal activity, and they will take it from you, okay? And it's up to you to prove that that money is earned legally, that you earn that money legally. How are you going to do that? You're in jail. You can't, even if you work, somebody pay you, company pays you, you can go there and get a pay stub from the company. You're in prison, you're in immigration jail. And a lot of companies will not even willing to give you evidence that they pay you the money. because they will get in trouble with immigration themselves. So the most best thing you could do is have some kind of money saved up right now. You know, so if you get caught, that you have money, that you're not gonna be in a country. You're gonna be thrown out in the middle of a country that you have nothing, no money to rely on. That's the most important thing. Have the money uh, with your family so that you can have something when you get thrown out. That's number one. Number two, if you think you have a case, you have a good case, this is the time to build the case. I don't know, a lot of the times, if you don't have lawyers, if you think you have a good case, let's say there is a war going on in your country, and you can't go back because your family is involved in a war, the government is going after your family, or you have evidence of this. You can't just say, government going after my family in the country I come from. As a result of that, I can't go back to my country. The immigration don't care about that. The immigration court, I've seen this before. They've seen these stories many times, millions of times a day. You have to have evidence that your country, specifically the government of your country, is targeting you because of political reason, some reason that make it unsafe for you to live in your country. And the government either directly targeting you for prosecutions, politically related prosecution, religious related prosecutions, something of that's gonna be big enough where it's gonna be unsafe for you to be in that country, that you cannot just go and live in another part of your country. And you have to build cases that is unbreakable. And if you have something like that, you have to get a lawyer. And if you think it's worth it, because remember, this lawyer costs a lot of money too. 7,000, 8,000, 10,000. And it's not cheap. You have to decide whether you want to keep the money with you, to use it when you get deported, or is the money is worth it right now to spend on the lawyers that with the chance of winning, or there is a little bit of chance of winning, but there's also a huge amount of chance that you're not going to win the case. A lot of lawyers are horrible. They take advantage of immigrant. They know that you're in a horrible spot, that they're willing to take advantage of you. They say I'm cooking. And so you gotta be very careful. Let's see. And the other thing I can think of right now, and what immigration is going to do, two things are going to happen. If you get arrested, the immigration is going to offer you either you sign voluntary departure. That means that you basically do not want to fight the case. You say, okay, I will go voluntarily. You sign the paperwork, and then it's going to give you what day you're going to leave the country. Let's say you ask the judge, or they give you, let's say you're living in 90 days. You sign the agreement with the immigration court saying, hey, I'm going to leave, self-deport myself in 90 days. In the meantime, I'm going to gather my stuff together, buy a flight ticket, get my money together, and just fly out of the country. This is one option. The second option is you want to go through the court process, and this court process will they don't release you. If you choose to go through the process, you're gonna stay in jail, and if unless you have the money to bail yourself out. And bailing yourself out is also very expensive. I've seen people when I was in immigration jail. I've seen people pay something like $7,000 to $10,000 just to be released, and then you have to have money, another patch of money somewhere, or you have to get a lawyer to represent you, and the money that you put down for that bail, you're most likely not going to get back that money. And so how are you going to release to be outside, be able to fight your case? It's very difficult. Once they catch you, either you sign the voluntary departure saying, okay, I'm leaving, I self-deport myself, and then they will release you. And a lot of times they will release you with the ankle monitors. They put some ankle monitor in your on your legs, tell you you have 30 days to leave the country, and they give you the day, what day and time you're supposed to show up for deportations. And if you don't show up, and then that's it, they will they will fine you. Believe it or not, they will fine you, and then you're not going to have any more court, because the court already decided that you already signed your deportation with the court. So you can't go back and appeal that, and it's over for you. You're going to get deported. And the second thing is, if you fight the case, you're going to be in immigration jail for the whole time. You're going to be fighting the case. At least you pay the $7,000 to $10,000 for the bail money, for the bail to the court. If you bail yourself out, then they release you with the conditions that not just you come to court, but you got to check in with the immigration office every other day. That's probably what's going to happen, because that's what happened to people I know. They will have you come in to check in with immigration just to make sure you're not going to run away. They also will going to take away your ability to probably your ability to work as well, the work permit. And then you fight the case. If you have a case, you win, you stay. But 99% of people will not win the case. I've seen in immigration. I spent about 2 years in immigration jail myself. All the time, the people that I've seen in there, they're immigrant. They're in the country, left their country as a result of economic problems. They can't get a job in their country. There's too much instability. Nothing directly connect them to a war or a specific political targeting them or their family specifically. And in the case with immigration, your case have to be so outrageous that deporting you to your country for you to get an asylum. The judge have to be convinced that your case is so outrageous that to deport you back to your country, it will be equivalent of killing you. You know what I'm saying? You have to convince the judge, one, you can never be able to live in your country safely because of the government that you're gonna be deported to, or whichever group that is targeting you or your family or whatever your groups, that group is so powerful that the government, your government, the government that you're gonna be deported to, not able to protect you from that groups. You see what I'm saying? Like for example, I know people that are from Somalia, right? I'm from Ethiopia personally. So some guys from Somalia will say, I am being targeted by the terrorist group in Al Shabaab. Give you an example. They will tell the immigration judge, look, I am being targeted by Islamic Jihad of the Al Shabaab in Somalia. And the Somali government not able to protect me. So if I get deported, I will be killed by the Al Shabaab or by the terrorist group. And the judge will decline this case. The reason is simple. The logic behind the judge, the court, the prosecutors, they will say, look, yeah, you're right. There are Al Shabaab or the terrorist group in Somalia. That is a fact. Even if you have a proof that this group is targeting you have evidence of the group making a video saying, yeah, calling your name and say, we're going to kill you if you come back to Somalia. That in itself, as proof as it is, may not be enough. Because the judge will say, you can live in an area that is controlled by Somali government. Therefore, your claim of imminent threat or immediate prosecutions or immediate threat to your life, the claim of that doesn't exist. And they can shut your case down just for that simple, the fact that the government have control over certain areas, therefore you can safely live in that area. You're not going to be the target of the groups that you're running away from. This applied to cartels too. If you say, I'm running away from cartels, and because of that, I have to. This is the reason why I'm applying for asylum. A lot of times, uh, the cartel cannot control everywhere in the country. They only control certain area, certain part of the country. The government will say, the United States court will say, if you are afraid of the cartel does not control the entire Mexican government. You go and live in an area where the government of Mexico controls. You're gonna be safe there. So your claim of asylum is denied. That's a lot of times what happens in immigration court. So this is gonna be it for now. We'll see you guys on the second part of the video, which I will cover some of the things you're gonna face in immigration, jail, the process, and some of the things that you have to do if you get when you go through the process. I have done that I've been to immigration, I've the whole thing before. So stay tuned.